Hello, Wilson here, back with another OZARK review and thought process or recap, whatever you want to call it. But I'm here to go over Season 3, Episode 3, titled Kevin Cronin Was Here. Now, I'm not too sure why it's titled that, but I think it might have a reference to like an old band or something. I'm not really sure who Kevin Cronin is. I apologize if that offends anyone for any reason, but I just don't. I'm just gonna go through what happened within this episode and just probably break it down by character, like character actions, and I'm probably gonna be jumping around a lot, so hopefully that's not too bothersome. We're gonna start off with Marty Bird. He's getting into some interesting stuff with the new Agent Maya Miller, who is going to be at the casino, I guess, running the operations, the FBI agent. Aside from his laundering issues, he also has like a mistrust with Wendy's Wendy's expansion plan, because she's trying to get like a casino and a hotel. Yeah, he's just not with it. The idea of Navarro being very close to the family, especially now that Wendy's like one of his main connects for like a prosperous and ideal future for him and his family. And within this episode, as in Marty, he tries to get Dickie and his band to like help launder money, but at first he was trying to pay off Nikki like $100,000 extra to kind of like handle his equipment and stuff, and I guess he was gonna use the equipment for like smuggling and laundering money, but Dickie caught on and he was just like, hey, yeah, this dude wants us to help him launder money. That was just a funny little part in there. And then we'll get to the end where Marty actually gets nabbed or kidnapped by like Navarro's men. I'm pretty sure it's Navarro's men, and how like Ben and Ruth ends up getting out of their way to try to save him, but then they get stopped because one of the men like pulled out a gun on them during the car chase. So yeah, sucks for Marty. Hope he's gonna be okay, but that's what happens when you try to wiretap his Navarro's conversation with Wendy. Getting into more detail about all that, we'll explain it within Wendy's part. So Wendy's been having weird dreams like throughout this episode. She had two where she kills Marty and robs him, and then there's another one where she rather makes Marty leave even though he wants her to go with him, but I guess she can't at this point because she's also trying to keep the family safe. Within this episode, it feels like Marty's having less and less of an influence within like the whole operation. It feels like Helen and the rest of the cartel might not need Marty, considering that they have other options like Wendy and even Ruth. So back to Wendy, ended up buying the hotel and the casino from Carl and Anita. Yeah, funny thing about that, she decided to meet up with Carl and basically convinced him to stand up to Anita, because he's been a pushover for like over 40 years within his marriage with Anita. And when he finally like steps up, basically puts his foot down and just stands up to Anita, he accidentally kills her, and that's just like a what the that was just kind of like a mind-blowing, unexpected type of thing. And I guess he ended up selling it to Wendy, the hotel at least. And then throughout the episode, she also finds out about Frank and Marty's deal behind her back, and this led to like a therapy session where she actually won the therapy session because Sue like basically sided with her, even though Marty's paying Sue behind the scenes to try to agree with Marty. And what I mean by that is like there was a lot of talks about trust in the relationship that Marty and Wendy have, and how Marty just needs to kind of like help her out or like consider her thoughts. He's very like protective and controlling, and I guess this is just new to have Wendy kind of speak her mind and just go full throttle on what she believes is right for the family. And yeah, so I guess keywords for the therapy session from what I took down, like I'm reading notes right now, is like it's all about for family, trust is important, and Marty thinks that death is the only way he could get out of this to fulfill his needs and to stand by Wendy's like points and thought process. This episode had Navarro and Wendy talking a few times where Navarro doesn't trust Wendy but wants her to get stuff done, and she ended up getting it done by locking down the deal to buy the hotel from Carl. And Marty tracked their phone call, or traced their phone call, but Navarro was smart enough to know and to have like a guy sitting there giving him the signal that the call was being tracked by someone else. And that is probably why Marty got kidnapped at the end, because they probably traced it all the way back to Marty. And they're probably gonna question him and be like, why are you eavesdropping into Wendy and Navarro's phone calls, especially when you should already know about the deal because that's your wife, right? But miscommunication is so big, which is causing so much drama between the parents. Bird. Also, another big thing in this episode was how Wendy just all of a sudden decided to get Ezekiel back from Darlene. Like, she set her mind to get Ezekiel back. So she goes and she baits the crap out of Darlene. She literally baited her to punch her in the face in public, just to like, I guess, show that Darlene's not fit to be a mother. Like, not only did she call her old and everything, like, she just says that she's bad for Ezekiel. And she literally just socked her in the face and fell for it. And Wyatt was also there, which was a surprise to Wendy, because Wyatt is still working for Darlene. And he seems very supportive of Darlene, promising that Ezekiel won't be taken away and all that. But I guess that was it for Darlene and Wyatt within this episode. Another thing with Wendy is that it finally showed a kind of a deeper connection she has with Ben, her brother, who's also a new character. It was pretty cool how she opened up about like the affair. They spent quality time together. It seemed like they had a really close relationship, even though like when they were kids. And she just straight up said like she gives no fucks about what Marty thinks, you know. And she also wants Ben to stay, so I guess he's gonna stay and not get kicked out of the house. So, yay, Ben's actually pretty cool in my opinion. Moving on, let's talk about Ruth a little bit. There's like a small glimpse of her trying to get information about Wyatt through 3, but not much really happened. And it also seemed like she knows that Cade, her father, died. I guess it didn't really illustrate that in earlier episodes, because at least I didn't notice that she knew that he died. But yeah, I guess she's still coping with it. She also got a visit from Helen asking if she could control the operations without Marty being there, and she, of course, like, she would stand up for herself and say, yeah, of course I can do that, right? But she didn't know that Helen was weighing her options to see if Marty could be like disposed. So that really sucks. But at least Ruth spoke to Marty about it, so that just shows that Ruth and Marty, they have a bond, really good connection, and I admire that. We go to Helen. Like, since she spoke with Ruth, it seems like she's having trust issues with Marty and all the bad stuff that's been going on. She's blaming it on Marty. She even blames Marty for having the FBI there with the warrant and everything. So that's like costing them money because operations have been halted, like the laundering process. Another small thing about Helen was that she talked to her daughter, I guess, and Aaron. Seems like she wanted to know what happened to her dad, why he got beat up, but Helen was like, I don't know, man. It's not like I hired people to beat him up. Jumping on to Ben for a little bit. He has a thing for Ruth, so he literally asked her out, and I think that's kind of odd. Like, I guess there is an age gap and all, but I didn't think that he would just hit on Ruth. But I guess this is more for the character development. We'll see how it goes. And he seems like he's a good guy, so if they're both cool, then I'm all for it. And he even tried to save Marty, so I really like that. Even though he knows that a lot of suspicious things are going on, he's doing what he can to help him be a part of the family. Speaking of that, about knowing like the family a little more, he's been spending time with Jonah a lot more, and he noticed how Jonah got away from the sheriff even though they were speeding on the boat. So that was just like another thing. I think he'll slowly start to realize that the Bird family's pretty messed up right now. They're in like a bad situation. But hopefully he doesn't like get killed or anything. I feel like they do that. They like throw characters in for a season and then they get killed off all of a sudden. All right, and then we got the kids, Charlotte and Jonah. Again, Charlotte, not much for her within this episode. I guess they're like leaving her as a supporting character for now, just to build development for other characters. She's just basically hanging out with Aaron and Jonah for this episode. She also like saw Frank Cosgrove for a bit when she was helping with her job like at Wendy's place, and it seems like Aaron and Charlotte, they went on to like this other boat, party boat, yeah, but that's literally it. And Jonah is just there trying to flirt or like at least play 21 questions with Aaron, but she's totally not interested, and it's a little weird for Charlotte to see. And then lastly, we got Agent Trevor, the FBI. It looks like he got one of Cosgrove's men, the one who was with Frank Cosgrove Jr. during the casino operation of like the fireworks and all that, blowing up the boat. It looks like he caught the partner, and he's gonna use the partner as like a source of intel, just like how Petty used I totally forgot her name, the bar owner from the previous season. Basically used her to like get what he wants, and that's information. Things could go south for everyone now that the FBI has a lot more powers. And this also leads to how Marty is actually agreeing to Agent Miller to like give intel about all like criminals that he knows of. So that's super bad. Like you see Marty's actually deciding to partner with the FBI as like a contractor, while Wendy's getting deeper and deeper into like the illegal business side, Navarro, like the kingpin of the Navarro cartel. So there you have it. That it was Ozark Season 3, Episode 3. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Let me know what your thoughts were about this episode down below in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. I would totally appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. I'm loving the show a lot, and I am just gonna keep watching, and I'll just keep making more of these videos afterwards. So yep, peace out. Take care.